Проектът INNOAIR ще проведе последната си конференция в София. Събитието има за цел да проучи резултатите и да анализира поуки от проекта, който за трета поредна година, нека да кажем, активно развива градската мобилност на София, допринася за зеления преход. По време на конференцията ще има и панаир, други актуални проекти, изпълняване на Столична община и нейните партньори в областта на устойчивата мобилност и качеството на въздуха. Веднага пък след конференцията участниците ще могат на място да получат впечатление при поискване за обществен транспорт, зони с ниски емисии или център за контрол на трафика с аналитична система за оптимизиране на разписанието за градския транспорт. Гостуват ми Гереон Мейер, експерт по проекта INNOAIR към програмата Иновативни дейности за градско развитие, както и Ромен Турминел, който е представител на програмата Европейска градска инициатива. Hello, gents. Nice to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Have you had the chance to get an impression of the traffic in Sofia? What kind of urban transport did you use to get here?
I was told I should have taken the metro. Unfortunately, I didn't, and so I missed the experience of obviously a very good connection to the airport, and as I understood, it's also a very cheap connection. So all of that together, I will definitely take on my way back the metro.
You, Mr. Turminel?
I'm ashamed. I took the taxi yesterday, but I arrived after midnight, so it was not possible, I think, to take metro at this hour.
Did you get the impressions over the traffic? How do you compare it with the other capitals?
When I arrived at lunchtime, and actually also I took the taxi, it was no big problem and no big deal. But what we hear about Sofia, it seems to be an issue once in a while, and obviously, at least from the past, and hopefully less in the future. It's a very congested city.
Bulgaria, let's say you're here for how many times have you been in Sofia?
A handful of times only. So it's I would not say it's a complete experience.
Okay, you're here for the final conference. INNOAIR is the first Bulgarian project founded by UIA and managed to introduce a number of urban transport innovations over a period of 3 years. As expert, how do you assess the project and the efforts of Sofia?
So the INNOAIR project is an outstandingly successful project, I have to say. At the end of the period of 3 years funding, they have been able to implement an on-demand bus service in 2 neighborhoods in the outskirts of Sofia, which seems to be accepted very well and seems to be functioning very well. It's very impressive to see what technologies they have implemented and how they have implemented this together with the citizens.
In the scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate it?
From 1 to 10, I don't know. For me, it's a 10. To be honest, in UIA, we have funded something like 86 projects, and INNOAIR is, to me, one of the most transferable solution. You were asking, well, compared to other cities, I've been living for 5 years in Paris. The question about air quality, but also about the offer of public transport and actually reliable public transport, it's very a key question. And I think when you discover this project led by INNOAIR, the first thing that you are thinking is that it's actually a question that a lot of people in the European Union can ask: what kind of solution can there be to tackle the issue of air pollution and traffic? So to me, that's why a 10, because I think that's a solution that really has this potential to be replicated and to be inspiring for a lot of cities in Europe.
What is the potential of Sofia in terms of the green transition? What our city can rely on in this process? What resources, what partnership capacities? What do you consider?
Yeah, very impressive. In the INNOAIR project, we have a consortium of universities, of public authorities, of research institutes, and also different agencies of the city, like the Sofia Development Association. You have the transport agencies and so on. It's really great to see that they all work together that closely to bring such an important and also comprehensive project onto the route and onto the streets.
What is the next logical step for Sofia and its partner after that successful completion of an innovative project such as INNOAIR?
From the point of view of EUI, our goal is really to make sure that the funding that the city of Sofia has benefited, that it can benefit to as many cities as possible. So it's really how the city can now be an example and share the knowledge that they have produced to really implement this project. How can it help other cities who would be facing the same challenges, and how they can replicate the solution? So in EUI, we have some funding opportunities in this regard. There are also some mechanism to really exchange the knowledge between cities. That can be an example of what Sophia can still do with our initiative. But there are also many other funding opportunities or knowledge sharing opportunities in the framework of the Commission. Sorry.
Yeah, but if there's something
I believe it's the logical next step is really to consider whether it can be further extended also within the city. I mean, at this point, it's still like 2 pilot neighborhoods only that are served by the on-demand buses. So meaning a bus service that you can book by a smartphone app as if it were a taxi, but at the price of the metro. So I think that's very attractive, and it's definitely something that other neighborhoods in Sofia can benefit as well of. Yeah, you can imagine all different kinds of situations, like the transition towards the countryside or certain underserved areas where this makes sense. And I would really recommend to explore more opportunities of that.
Do we need more efforts? I mean, you can compare it. You have been in different capitals. How green is Sofia compared to the other capitals? European. Let's just stay in the region of European.
In terms of transportation, I would say the important thing is to have the right ambition, and this is what we see in Sofia. I mean, the project is definitely a great example of that. But what is really important is to understand that what is required here is a comprehensive systemic solution that needs to be implemented. Yeah, many agencies, many transportation offers, many stakeholders need to agree on something being a good solution for sustainable and smart transportation, if we are considering some transportation out of the many options to greening the city. And I see Sophia on a very good track here. And I would say the collaborations and these partnerships are essential for it.
Give me an example. What collaborations do you can give us as example? Some experience from Vienna, for example. Can it be implemented in Sofia, for example?
Many of these transportation So many of these approaches towards a new and future transportation, more sustainable transportation, lack actually the agreement of, for example, citizens or the agreement by other state agencies or other municipality, part of the municipality. Here, I believe this joint agreement is there. What one can take as examples, I believe, are those where, for example, a close collaboration has happened between the providers of transportation with the citizens in jointly or say collectively developing solutions. Yeah? So if you, for example, ask users where they would wish a certain stop to be placed or which kind of fares would be acceptable, and of course with which options beyond just a public offer could be implemented, like bike lanes or walking walk lanes.
You're going right up to my next question. What challenge, the main challenge of Sofia is to be more green with the cycling, with using scooters, using the public transport? What do you believe is the first challenge? I mean, what is like to compare Paris with Sofia, for example?
I would say in Paris, one of the most key issue is, and I think it's also one of the issue that the INNOAIR project is addressing, is how do you go from this one suburb to another? Going from the suburb to the city center is very easy. You take this huge train that takes thousands of people every day there.
After that, you have walking distances.
Exactly, but when you want to go from the east to the west of the city or from the northeast to the northwest, that's when things are complicated. It's really how do you connect between the public transport. And I think that's what is interesting about the INNOAIR project. It's really that this on-demand service, but it really makes the connection where it was maybe too rigid for the original public transport.
And you, Mr. Meier?
Behavioral change is essential. Yeah. We all are using transportation probably for very long times for very comparable services, like from home to work, from work to sports or things like that. And we are using something we have always used. Yeah? If you're driving a car, it will be difficult to prevent you from doing it, even though you may be in a traffic jam for a while and takes long times, and it's maybe in the end of the day not good for the environment. But to offer and to incentivize and motivate people to choose other options and to try other options, I think it's essential here.
So make it the center more expensive to trespass?
It's always push and pull, right? So you can try to push people out of certain areas by restricting access, yeah. But the other way, of course, is to make other options more attractive. To say, for example, well, if there's a very nice road, just let's ban cars from it and allow only cycling and walking there. Why not? To make it even more attractive, more calm, more convenient, and more livable. Yeah.
Because always the first thing that we hear when that hot potato is on the table, should we have that restrictions, Euro 1, Euro 2 for the cars, or just the weekend days, and etc., etc. The people are always getting a bit nervous. But if we have that beautiful service, public service, on-demand service, is that the first step?
I believe it's always important to also signal early on that there will be exceptions. Yeah, I mean, there's people like handicapped people, elderly people that may, for good reasons, need still to use a conventional car or something like that. And for sure, this is something to be taken care of right away in the first place, also such that it does not block the process or hinder the process. I think that's a very important, essential thing. The other, of course, is to make the other options more attractive, maybe to incentivize them, maybe to reward also the use of other options. And in many cases, it's about our health, right? And well, better for us anyway.
Thank you for being here in актуално.com. Разговори за София приключва. Наистина много интересен разговор и мнения, наистина от външни експерти. Вашите коментари, кое може да ви пречупи, кое може да ви превъзпита, кое може да възпламени желанието ви да се качите наистина в публичния транспорт, метро или такъв тип on-demand на тези автобусчета, които можем да си поръчаме точно през апликация като такси. Дали това може да ви накара да слезете от вашия автомобил и да го използвате може би само през уикенда? Коментарите ви очакваме под това видео.